What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Setsumeisho, where I look at Japanese Famicom games and Super Famicom games instruction manuals and compare them to what we got in North America. In episode 2, we're going to look at one of the classics, one of the greatest games, and one of the most difficult games ever, Super Mario Brothers. Here is the original artwork, and I much prefer this to the one that we got in North America. I like it just has a lot more character, has a lot more color, and everything's really cute, and I like that. Let's open it up. And back in the day, these games came in plastic little cases like this. Here's the game, and inside is the manual. Let's pop that out. And here is the manual. HVCSM, that is Super Mario Brothers. Let's open it up. And on the inside cover, we have a table of contents. That is something that is different. And page 1 just has some warnings about like cleaning it and how to use it, etc. Very similar to what we got. And page 2, talking about the controllers. Controller is different, obviously, because it's the Famicom. And here we have more of the controllers. It's here it says B button, so hashiru, so to run. It says to hold the B button. But something that was created aside from the instruction manual is B dashu. So B dashu was kind of like the slang term that the Japanese gamers used when they were talking about running with B. So I think that's what it became in the end, B dashu. Here is something that's super different. We never got this backstory, or this tale, as it says here. It says monogatari. All right, I'm going to try to read this. I did my studying before this, but I'm going to try my best. It's not going to be perfect, but just deal with me. All right. Okay, let's give it a shot. キノコたちの住む平和な王国. Let's try that again. All right, from the top.
キノコたちの住む平和な王国に、ある日強力な魔法を操る大亀クッパの一族が侵略してきました。おとなしいキノコ一族は、皆その魔力によって岩やレンガ、つくし等に姿を変えられてしまい、キノコ王国は滅びてしまったのです。このキノコたちの魔法を解き、蘇らすことができるのはキノコ王国のお姫様ピーチだけ。彼女は今、大魔王クッパの手中にあります。マリオは亀一族を倒してピーチ姫を救出し、再び平和なキノコ王国を築くために立ち上がりました。テレビの中のマリオはあなたです。このアドベンチャークエスト、遠征を完結できるのはあなただけなのです。
Alright, so that was a lot. And this is a nice little story, just to give us some background of where we're at when we push the start button. And next page, very similar to North America. We did get this little stage artwork of World 1. Asobikata, how to play. So the goal. And here we have techniques. And Same explanations. Here is a little different. It says bonasu character. So I don't think I would call those characters. But 1-up kinoko, coin, question mark, question mark. Mario no power up. So kinoko, furawa. So not even called fire flower, it's just furawa, star. Then we have power wo kureru nakamatachi. Nakamatachi is like buddies or friends. So I guess these are friends or buddies. Renga ni kaeraretari, kesaretari shita kinoko wo mitsukete tasukeru to, 彼らからパワーをもらって、次々と変身します。So these are the mushrooms that were turned into bricks, or they were banished, or they disappeared. So I don't know if you know, but some people are saying that whenever you hit a brick in Super Mario Brothers, you're actually killing the former Mushroom Kingdom people. I don't know how true that is, because maybe it's just the ones that you find in the question mark blocks, or the hidden blocks, are the ones that were changed. But I don't know, maybe we are just killing them. Who knows? So more techniques. This is about the turtles. And again, more of the same. And now we're going to get to the interesting part, the very, very interesting part of the characters and their names. Names are completely different from what we got, or what we know, I would say, internationally. But in Japan only, they have their own specific names, and because of localization, they were translated. But here, let's look at the original names. So this is Kuribo. We know him as Goomba. So why Kuribo? So Kuribo is actually supposed to be a shiitake mushroom, which are very good with melted butter, by the way. So he's actually a mushroom, and he betrayed the kingdom. But I think here's another thing. When they developed the game, he was the last character in the whole game to get designed. The last one, and it's funny because he's the first one that you encounter. But I don't know the real reason, but I think they named him Kuribo because Kuri means chestnut. And when they developed him, it didn't look like a shiitake, it looked more like a chestnut. And which he does. He does look like a kuri. And Bo is kind of like an honorific that is attached to a name. Usually to like young little boys, they call something Bo. But that's where his name comes from. Here we have Noko Noko Midori, the green Koopa Troopa. So Noko Noko means to walk around aimlessly, which gives so much more meaning to what you see on the screen, because this turtle is just, going on a platform or whatever it's walking, and it's just not, it's advancing towards you, but it's not like, it looks like it has no purpose. And he falls off a cliff. Where the red one, it says here that even in the English version, it says that he's a chicken, or it says he has a weak heart. Ki ga yowakute, ittari kittari, sowa sowa shiteru. So it just goes back and forth, wandering. And then the Koopa paratroopas here, green and red, we have pata pata, pata pata. Pata pata is an onomatopoeia for flapping wings. And again, it just gives more meaning to the character because they have wings. And, if we add pata pata to it, we can imagine this flapping sound of the wings. And, in Super Mario Brothers 3, the P meter, or the P wing, now you know why it's called P, because it's pata. Pata pata is P. So that's another interesting fact of that. And another interesting fact of Noko Noko is they were the first characters to be made, probably from the first Mario Brothers. And like, I know some translations call it shell creepers, but in the Japanese instruction booklet of Mario Brothers, it's just called Kame. So I don't know where shell creeper came from. Probably just for localization. All right, next up we have Metto. And Metto, Buzzy Beetle, is not a beetle at all. It's actually a turtle. And his name is Metto because of, it's short for Helmetto, or helmet, because of the shape. So very different. Okay, next up we have Hamaborosu. So it's the same. The Hammer Brothers. No change there. Here, this guy, Lucky 2. So Lucky 2 in Japanese is Jugemu. And Jugemu is, there's a really interesting story about this. And Jugemu comes from this thing called rakugo. Rakugo is an old traditional storytelling / comedy where an old guy, usually it's an older guy, and recently there's been women, but usually an older guy sits on a cushion on a stage and tells his comedy or story, gives like anecdotes. And the story of Jugemu is one of those famous stories. And I'm going to tell you what the story is, but I can't memorize it, so I'm actually going to be reading this. So here I go. All right. So in short, the story behind Jugemu is that a couple gave birth to a baby boy, but couldn't decide on what his name should be. So the father went to a temple to seek advice of the priest. The priest then gave a bunch of names, all starting with Jugemu, meaning never ending. So the father couldn't decide on which one to use and used all of them, making it a long, never-ending name of Jugemu Jugemu Goko no Surikire Kaijari Suigyo no Suigyo Matsu Unrai Matsu Furai Matsu Kuuneru Tokoro ni Sumu Tokoro Yabura Koji no Bura Koji Paipo 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 no Shuringan Shuringan no Gurindai Gurindai no Pompoko Pi no Pompoko na no Chukyume no Chosuke. That is a mouthful. So, like, I don't know why he's named Jugemu, but my theory is that the developers, number one, maybe they couldn't think of a name for this guy, or they knew that his terror of annoying Mario would be never ending, which is what Jugemu means. It means never ending. So that's his story. Pretty interesting. Then we go to his little minion, but actually it's his pet. It says Jugemu no petto. Togezo. So toge means thorn. All right, so that's why this name is more fitting. Spiny is a pretty good name for it too. And here we have Pakkun flower. And pakku. So pakku pakku is another onomatopoeia for the opening and closing of a mouth. And you should know this from Pakkuman. So Pakkuman comes from pakku pakku. And kun. Kun is something we attach to boys' names. Like if you've seen Naruto, you know Hinata calls Naruto Naruto-kun. And so that's something that is given to men or boys. Usually boys, though. And here's interesting. This is what's interesting. It says he comes out of a clay pot. Like, it's weird because we think of it as pipes. So now this makes me wonder if those are pipes or if those are clay pots that we're going into. It's a little strange. All right, and now we have Paipo. So if you heard that story of Jugemu, you heard me say Paipo. And Paipo is one of the names of the kingdoms in that story. And they named this character after that kingdom. And here we have Kira. Bullet Bill is Kira, or Killer. And there's no way that Nintendo of America would name one of their enemies Killer. So let's just change it to Bullet Bill. Here we have Puku Puku. That's a very cute name, and it's very fitting because Puku Puku means chubby and cute. I've heard females or women call, or they look at a baby and they say, Puku Puku, which is, very fitting of chubby and cute. So that's Cheep Cheep. And here we have Gesso. Gesso. So Gesso. This is Gesso, but Gesso it means squid tentacles. So again, it just gives it a lot more depth to the character. And next, there is Baburu. So Baburu is just bubble. And because it looks like a bubble, it's a fiery bubble. So inside the castle, it's a flame that comes from a lake of magma, and protects Koopa, or Daimao Koopa. And the jump platform, it's pretty much the same. Jumpudai. It's called Jumpudai. And Peachy. We don't know what she looks like. Yeah, we do. And it's Princess Peach. But in America, we first called her Princess Toadstool. And then I forgot around when that we actually changed, not we, but Nintendo of America changed it to Peach, and it became her official name. But I remember as a kid, her name was Princess Toadstool. And next we have Toad, but in Japan, we call him Kinopio. Probably a play. Obviously it's a play on Kinoko, mushroom, and maybe Pinocchio, I'm sure. So the 7 servants of Princess Peach. And here we have the last guy, Bowser, but his name is Daimao Koopa. And the story behind this, so his name is Koopa, and the name comes from food. So the creators of the creators of Super Mario Brothers were out having dinner, and they hadn't come up with a name for the main bad guy. So Miyamoto was like, hey, let's go get some yakiniku, which is broiled meat. And then he saw on the menu that it was Goopa. And so they thought, let's call it Goopa. And surprisingly, it wasn't even yakiniku. It was more of like a porridge. But they decided to stick with it. So Koopa is named after food, Korean food. Or I don't know the pronunciation of it, but I think it's Gookbap. Gookbap, I think. I'm probably messing that up. So yeah, that's very interesting with all the different names. And again, it means so much more. And these are things that get lost in translation. So I'm glad I can share this with you. All right, Super Mario Bros. Technique Shu. Himitsu. 見えないでください. So the Noko Noko is telling us not to look. And we actually, I'm sure we got that. Yeah, we did get this in the manual too in North America. All right, so that is the end of this. And here's the back. I hope you enjoyed this information about Super Mario Brothers, especially with the character enemy names. And again, I'll be back with another episode of this. Hopefully we can find more differences with more Famicom or Super Famicom games. And thanks for watching. If you like the content, like, comment, subscribe. I don't know, do something. All right, take it easy. Peace.